Hello everyone, welcome to game number 1 for the 2014 season as the Pioneers of Sacred Heart will host Lafayette on Saturday night at 6 o'clock, and we'll be there. I'm Gary Laubach along with Mike Joseph. John Leone will be down on the field, so the old guard is back, and we're looking to a great start for 2014. And Mike, certainly not an easy ball game to open for the Lafayette Leopards. This is a team that has a game under its belt, a good win, 28-7 over Marist. They beat us last year in a tough loss, one which I think most Leopard fans felt they should not have gotten because of a penalty that kept the ball from Lafayette at the very end. So there's a little bit of a revenge factor. There's a little bit of an experience factor as far as the Pioneers are concerned, having a game under their belt. So I guess mentally, what do you think the Leopards are feeling right now? I'm sure being an ex-player, you just want to go out and hit somebody that doesn't wear your uniform.
I think the Leopards have had enough of preseason practice so far, but this is a good football team. I mean, this is a football team that was 10-3 last year, was a playoff team last year, and I think they got better each week, and it took Lafayette last year a little bit of time to find themselves. But I think the Leopards have found themselves this preseason, especially having an established quarterback, an established running game, some great wide receivers, and a defense I think that they're very excited about. So I think things are looking good for Lafayette, and getting off to a good start is huge. I talked to Jared Roberts earlier preseason, and just getting off to a good start. Last year, Leopards were 0-3 to start the season. This is a very important game to go up, find out where you lie, where you feel this team is, and I think Coach Stevani's excited about the challenge.
This is a ball club under head coach Mark Knopfrey that absolutely turned their season around last year, 10-3 last year. They had the greatest turnaround of any team in the FCS last season, and Mark Knopfrey has created up there what they're calling Knopfmania. So it's a ball club that comes in with a good quarterback in R.J. Knoll and a great running back, maybe the best they have ever had on campus in Kashawda Spence, as he broke the record on Saturday for the most career yards. So to stop the running game seems to be a real key to winning this football game.
Yeah, and that's kind of been my byline for the last couple of years, is you got to stop the run, and I think Art Link's going to lend himself to that. When you start as a new defensive coordinator, I think the first things first, you got to find a way to stop the run. And he's going to have to do it with those 6 up front guys, and then being able to add in some athletic safeties and some linebackers that can really run. I think it's going to be an interesting situation because Spence brings a lot of power, 240 pounds, 250 pounds. He's going to bang it at you. And he's not only going to bang it at you in the first quarter, he's going to bang it at you in the fourth quarter. So you would think that this team gets up on you. They have a chance to put the game away. But if you look at last year, Lafayette, when leading at halftime, they were 5-0. When leading after 3 quarters, they were 5-0. When losing after 3 quarters, they were 0-6. So that's a big thing about Lafayette. A little bit of front running, but get on the front end of this and then let your quarterback and your defense dictate.
And Spence did run the football 30 times this past weekend, so he's going to be the workhorse, no question about it. And he did run for over 160 yards last year against Lafayette. With that said, I'm excited about seeing Drew Reed. I'm excited about seeing Ross Sherman run the football. I'm excited about the wide receivers. It's a stable of wide receivers this year. And, of course, it looks like the offensive line, which was a real question mark coming in, looks like they may very well be very strong.
Yeah, and it was nice to hear Max Angola talk about 3 seniors. There's 3 seniors up there. Let's not forget that, Charlanzio brings a lot of leadership, and having Mazer back. And it's going to be really interesting. I think the question marks were last year. The question marks were the year before. But this is an offense that should hit the ground running. And if you're a defensive coordinator going to face Drew Reed and the plethora of receivers and weapons that he has, I tell you what, this is an offense that should light it up.
Special teams are going to be interesting. They were outstanding last year. Got a few question marks in kicking the football. There's going to be a freshman back there who will be doing the place kicking for Lafayette. So there are question marks, but that's why you play game 1, to start answering those questions.
Yeah, and couldn't it have started any better than last year with Matt Smalley going 98 yards? And we expect the same thing. Can they use Matt on punt returns? Can they use him on kickoff returns? Can you get Sherman back there and let him get a couple of those, because you don't want him to get hurt? But I expect Frank to come out with guns blazing, and you know what? Special teams going to be a big perk this year as well.
I think by now you may have realized we're pretty excited about heading up to Fairfield, Connecticut on Saturday night, 6 o'clock. If you can't get up there, then join us on the Lafayette Sports Network. For GoLeopards.com, I'm Gary Laubach. We'll see you next week.